Appreciate that. First of all, it's just great to see so many familiar faces here today, so appreciate the great turnout. I want to start also by congratulating the Hall of Fame inductees. Unbelievable credentials, and Gail, I would not argue that. I think that's a great group to be in. And I think it's just always especially special to be recognized where you grew up or where you lived, and there's no better honor than that. So enjoy this evening, enjoy the weekend, and well-deserved. Happy for all of you. Just a quick side note, I went to the University of Connecticut, and if you go, I think it's the fourth stall in the restroom on the back, there's a little plaque commemorating my career. I used to throw up there a lot before games. So that's as close as I've come. So congratulations on that. Just a couple words about Marv. It's tough to follow Marv anytime. And, first of all, he has Gable S numbers too going over at Regina. But just what an unbelievable person he is, an unbelievable player he was. Jim mentioned the Ohio State play, which is certainly, I think everybody will remember that forever. Probably as much as that for me was there was a punt that he kicked, I think it was 1987. Against Indiana, where we were really on the ropes struggling. He totally changed field position, and the Ohio State play was a clutch play, certainly. But that day, we needed that play, and Marv was a guy who, when we needed something, he delivered. In that case, it was a punt. And speaking of now, Kenny, the guy was multitasking all the time. So, a great football player. Marv has done a lot to give back, like a lot of our players. He's been back helping our guys, back in our building 2 weeks ago, helping the whole team just with basic finances, something most college kids and a lot of adults need. But he took time to do that. Our guys have come back the last couple of years and helped us with networking events, trying to get them thinking more about careers, that type of thing. And Marv's been great on that. So that's one of the great things about coaching here. And also his recruiting story is memorable. I know Dan McCarney, who's our honorary captain, touched on that. They had a dinner last night with Coach Fry. And Bill Brazier was really the guy that just believed so strongly in Marv. And the rest is history. Marv came here. Coach Fry was convinced by Bill's strong conviction that Marv was going to be a tremendous player and a tremendous contributor at the University of Iowa. And I think the rest is history. It's funny, Dan and I were talking, seeing familiar faces. Jim Hilgenberg. He told me the story about Joel getting the last scholarship in his class, and Joel went on, had a great career too. So so many neat stories like that, and I think that's what makes it so special to be associated with the program, and that's something I'll touch on here in a minute. I too want to thank the iClub, Jim, everybody for the support, and certainly kicking off in a great event like this gets the season going. We appreciate that, but the support and the work that you put in year-round is just so helpful for all of us in our programs, with all of our teams, everything that we're doing, all of our efforts. So really appreciate that. And then also just want to take a moment to recognize Coach Fry. It was great to have a chance to visit with him about an hour and a half yesterday. He came through the building, first time he walked through the facility, and certainly enjoyed that. But boy, he was doing fantastic. Gave me a little preview of the speech for this morning when they unveiled the statue about keeping it high enough to keep it away from the dogs, apparently. So he hasn't lost his sense of humor at all. But I think we're all well aware of what impact he had on this program, and I've always felt this since leaving here in 1989. How much of it is another person alive that could have come in and done what he did, accomplished what he did in terms of turning things around, just changing attitudes, that type of thing. And Dan McCarney hit on that this morning. He also hit on a story about you, Dave, which I won't share with the whole crowd. But Dan lived it, and I got to witness it in year 3. Just the impact he had, not only on the program, but I think the entire state. It's just unbelievable. And I always like to mention, too, I think he's well known for recruiting Jerry Levias down at SMU. It really changed things in that conference. But if you look at our conference, it was interesting, 13 straight years prior to 1980-81 season. It was either Michigan or Ohio State went to the Rose Bowl, nobody else. And when Iowa went in 1981, that really has changed the course of history in our conference. I think it had great historical impact. Only 2 teams of the original members, before we had 14 from that time, have not gone to Pasadena, so everybody's had an opportunity. And I think, to me, that's what it represents. It represents our conference when we start out in our first game, be it in late August or be it in September. Everybody in the conference knows they have a realistic chance to get to the winner's circle, and I think it's so healthy for competition. It's good for college athletics. And I think, again, Coach Fry probably didn't get enough credit just for the impact he had on this entire conference, let alone our program. I think also something really special to me, I know when in the 80s you look around and the two model programs were Nebraska and Penn State for having stability, for having longevity. And now, 30-some years later after Coach Fry got here, we've had that same thing. We've enjoyed that same thing. And it's not only in the coaching staffs, but to me it also goes well beyond. It starts with our leadership base. And if you think about, Bump Elliott, then Bob Bowlesby, and now Gary, the work that they did and have done. And it really got my attention this summer. There's another school in our conference, I think they're north of us. And if I read this correctly, they've had 13 or 16, don't quote me, look it up, 13 or 16 athletic directors, either since the 80s or 90s. It really doesn't matter. They've had a lot of change in personnel, and as you might imagine, they've had a lot of coaching changes there as well. And I think really one of the secrets of stability is having good people and letting them do their work and riding the highs and lows. And that's, I think, been one of the secrets at this university. And I feel very appreciative for the leadership that we've enjoyed during my 26 plus years here. And that's something I think sometimes it goes a little bit unstated too. So really appreciative of Coach Fry. Obviously had a big part of that. People like Coach Fry, Bump Elliott, the Gail Blevinses, Dan Gables, the fantastic people that have come through here. So feel very, very fortunate in that regard. Now just shifting to football, probably enough has been said, I'm guessing, and enough has been written and certainly talked about. I don't listen to many talk shows other than the one that I do, but I'm guessing we're probably all tired of the rhetoric and eager to see what happens, as Marv said. And each and every year you get to this point, you're always kind of anxious, you're always a little bit eager, and certainly a little bit nervous as well. I think Marv really hit on the key point. It's all about how the team develops, and it's something we try to really impart upon our team. This past January, we do every January. Every year is a new year, regardless of how many players you have back. Things change, circumstances change, the chemistry changes, and then it's really an ongoing process. And the thing I can say is this team's really done a good job to date with their attitude. Their work ethic has been good. They've done a good job in the classroom. We had a tremendous spring semester, as good as we've ever had, which doesn't win games for you, but it just indicates guys are thinking right. They've done a good job in the summer program. Summer school, our newcomers came in and did a good job in summer school. That's encouraging, and we've got a lot of those guys in our 2 deep right now. So, we're anxious to see how they are out there. We've had a good camp, I think, for the most part. It's never perfect. You have guys in and out with injuries, so you don't have the consistency you like to see, but really since last Friday, I think we started to kind of get into a little bit of a rhythm, and now we got to go play a game just like our opponent. So that's kind of where we're at. I think maybe as illustrative of our team as anything, it's kind of interesting. We've never had a senior graduate, but we do with Ron Caluzzi, our punter, who came in from Central Michigan. He's really done a nice job. He's a fifth-year veteran, as you might imagine, really steady, mature, all that kind of thing. And then we've got a true freshman who will be our place kicker. So, we've got some veteran players at all positions. We also have some very young players. How they mesh come together starting tomorrow is going to be important. And then really it's a 12-week race with a 1 week off in the middle there. So it's a 12-week race, see how we challenges of every day, every week as we go along. And like you, we're just as eager as you are probably to see just how things materialize, how the team grows, how they develop. But we got an opportunity. So it all starts tomorrow. We play Miami. They have not had, the last 2 seasons haven't been great for them. They've got a new coach there, Chuck Martin, came from Notre Dame 2 years ago. And if you look at his staff, first of all, most of them have some connection with him, either at Notre Dame, where he came from, and more of them actually were with him at Grand Valley in Michigan, where they won national championships. So, they're a staff that's together. They've got to focus on what they want to do. I imagine they've got really good chemistry. They've got a veteran team, about 17 starters back. And to me, my history is like year 3 is usually when you start gaining traction, when you're trying to build something. And that's what we expect tomorrow. We expect a real tough contest from them. Our first goal is to go out there and win the football game. That's what we're thinking about. And then secondly, hopefully play well. So that never changes. That's kind of the deal. But we're hopefully going to be ready to go. And last night was a good example. When you're not ready, you can get some real unwanted results. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I just want to commend everybody involved with the Fry Fest. What another great tradition. Certainly have Coach Fry back here is special, and the inductees, just everybody involved with it, fantastic. It was great to have Dan McCarney with us, and I know he's on the panel this afternoon, and Dan just delivered a really powerful, strong message to our football team, so very appreciative. He and I worked together for 9 years. He kind of took me under his wing when I got here in '81. Being the 2 line coaches, we worked together. quite often got chewed out by Coach Fry together, so it was kind of interesting and fun, but it was great to have him here, and just I think, again, that's what makes it so unique to be at Iowa, just the fabric here that goes back so many years, be it with our athletes or the people that support the program. So we're extremely appreciative, again, of everybody being here, supporting our teams, and we'll look forward to seeing you in Kenny tomorrow. Thank you.